yesterday, the president weighed in on one or two bills. The consensus amongst the smart set, Dan and Sean, was that the Senate was going to roll the House on reconciliation. But then President Trump said, no, 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 I like one big, beautiful bill. Here's how John Thune reacted to the news that the president was undermining the Senate effort to do two bills. Roll that tape, please.
The House, as you know, is working on a different budget resolution, and we certainly wish them all the success in moving it. We will work closely with them. More power to them. What they're trying to do is get the tax piece of this done, and done quickly. And obviously, we all want to see the president's tax priorities addressed, which is making not only the 2017 taxes, extending them, but making them permanent. And that's certainly the priority for most, if not all, of the Republican senators.
So there's so many insane things happening in Donald Trump's Washington after 30 days that we're all just kind of accepting the insanity of the Republican Party working on two separate reconciliation plans at the same time. I had the vaguest memory, and I cannot pin this down. Vaguest memory that on this program yesterday, one person touted the possibility that the House was actually about to roll the Senate. Paul, do you remember who that was? Any idea?
I have to go back to the tape to check, but I think we
All right,
can do
well,
that.
play a little bit of yesterday's show. Maybe
Oh yeah, make sure you play the whole part.
Yeah, just play a little bit of yesterday's show.
I agree, Sean, with what you say. And I generally am a believer that the Senate always rolls the House. But I heard some things yesterday that made me believe the House may actually win this fight, as amazing as that is.
I think
they might actually win.
Oh,
Go
if
back.
you want to know what it's like to be on cable news, that's it.
What'd you say earlier, Sean?
I said that while the conventional wisdom is that the Senate would roll the House, more and more I've talked to folks on the House Freedom Caucus and others that believe the savings that's achieved in one big bill is bigger, and conservatives will get on board with that.
You did. Unfortunately, that's not what Paul pulled. I don't know why. Anyway, Sean, is Donald Trump really now exclusively for one big, beautiful bill, or is this, as my sources suggest, just a way to help Johnson run up the votes necessary to pass it, and then they're still going to play this crazy game of two tracks?
I will quote the late, great Democratic chairman of the House Ways and Means Committee, Charles Rangel, in a meeting where we were presenting a trade deal to him, and he looked at us and he said, "I'm with you guys till I'm not."
Are you breaking news that he once said that, or is that some like famous story?
No, I mean, it was a private meeting. We were literally like, "Chairman, we need to get you on board." And he goes, "Look, I'm with you until I'm not."
That's amazing. And your Rangel imitation is adequate.
Pretty good.
It's adequate. Good. It's better than that.
I mean, that's 10 years old, guys. 10 years.
Understood. And it's probably lost on some of our younger community members here. But that's a pretty good Rangel for those of you who don't know. Yes. Dan, did Trump's endorsement of the House bill yesterday mean anything except he's with them till he's not?
I mean, Sean, that was going to be my line. I think, and then JD Vance turned around and told the Senate, we're still supportive of you guys moving your bill, and maybe that you're going to be the right answer. So,
by the way,
I agree with, I agree with you guys. It's a leverage play to try to help Johnson.
Yeah.
I think what's hanging over this now, as they've dilly-dallied here, is these poll numbers moving, right? Republicans are strong, for Trump and a lot of this. Democrats are strong against, and independents are starting to be about 10 to 15% against a lot of what Trump is doing. And so what is the path as a Democrat who's experienced this a few times in his career? Moderate swing districts start getting nervous and they start getting antsy. And then the base gets frustrated that the moderates are getting antsy. And you start to get this tension, this clash. We got to do something. We got to do something. Wait a sec. Like, we need to alter this and sand it down and do less. We got to get something done. And so what I see happening is if you go one track, it's going to be a long time to get that bill. So the pressure now, perhaps with the Senate, is we put points on the board. Polls show Trump is slipping on immigration. He's slipping on the economy. Mark, you like to say the big things are the big things. They're not focusing on the big things. DEI and very few people thought that like Trump's whole focus was going to be DOGE. I mean, it was part of what he ran on, but it was like number 5 behind inflation, the economy, immigration. Like DEI was fairly up there. But I think you see this path, and this is how Democrats got wiped out in the past when we had the trifecta.
So-
Sean, go ahead.
Well, I think that just to throw some more ingredients into this recipe. So you got the Senate bill. Lindsay will still move that out of the budget committee, right? And then the House will pass this other bill, which, like as I said, at the end of the day, really all you're talking about is your 302A and your reconciliation instructions. So there's a lot of fungibility in that recipe. But then Trump yesterday said that he wants to give back 20% of the DOGE savings to the American people. And don't get me wrong. He did this during the first term. If you ever listen to what some of the Biden, remember that Biden interview that we talked about? One of the regrets that Biden had was not putting out his name on check. Trump inherently gets that. He wants something in people's mailboxes that has a check with his name on it. So he wants to do that, and then he wants to pay down the debt. And that's complicating because they need those DOGE savings in reconciliation to extend tax cuts. So this is getting like, it's literally like taking a Rubik's Cube and saying, hey, we're going to add another side to it.
Yeah. And look, we'll be talking about this for the next few weeks because it's all coming to a head. Debt ceiling, government shutdown, reconciliation process. It's all coming to a head.